Tonight on West Dakota Fox News at 9. 9 are dead after a van mows down pedestrians on a busy Toronto street. Plus, the fate of Mandan's school buses is up in the air. We'll show you their new possible direction. But first, right before peak season, a fire tears through New Salem, destroying a beloved business.
This is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. A family in New Salem is picking up the pieces tonight after a violent explosion over the weekend turned their lives upside down. One person was injured and had to be airlifted to a Minnesota hospital. Daniela Hurtado went out there today to get a better idea of the damage.
The Dagleys have lived on this ranch for more than 25 years. They actually own a business in Mandan where they sell bulk seeds and potatoes. Now this is all that's left of their greenhouse where they had most of their products. A scene right out of a movie.
It looked like hell, and it was really hard for me to go out.
But they did.
And it was just pouring out black smoke, just coming out. So I ran to the other end of the greenhouse to kind of see what was going on. I opened up the garage door on the end of the greenhouse, and I saw there was a fire right at that end by the furnace.
Then an explosion happened.
One of the tanks shot across the yard to the barn, and the other tank shot up in the air and like a ball of fire 300 feet high.
He believes some of those ashes must have hit a couch by the home.
And he picks it up and is going to run to the end of the deck to throw it off, and he walks over right where the sofa was, and the floor underneath was charcoal already, and he fell through.
Jonathan is one of Mark's 7 kids. They didn't know how badly his burns were until an ambulance had to take him for treatment. They tell me Jonathan is doing better, but is still in Minnesota getting treatment. A family friend actually started a funding page for them to help with all the costs associated with this fire. Reporting in New Salem for West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Daniela Hurtado.
A father and son are recovering tonight after a house explosion over the weekend in Stutsman County. It happened in the town of Cleveland. Police say the two were taken to Jamestown for treatment. Preliminary investigations show the explosion may have been caused by a buildup of natural gas. Time now is 9:02. Let's throw it over to Henry Blakes for some good news. Henry, I said good news.
It's good news. It's rain, not snow. Well, at least not for us anyway.
Warmer weather's coming later.
Yeah, so it'll melt. It'll be good.
We'll hear about that later in the show.
Yes.
Thanks, Henry.
You're welcome.
Police say a 21-year-old woman is behind bars tonight after spitting in an officer's face. Bismarck police say they got a call of a drunken fight on Sunday by East Front Avenue. Officers say Frankie Saylor was celebrating her 21st birthday and kept running away from her group, triggering the fight. When police arrived, Saylor fled again. That's when an officer caught her in the parking lot and tried to cuff her, so she spit on him. Saylor has been charged with contact by bodily fluids, which is a Class C felony. Her bond is at $500. Authorities in Grand Forks say they found a man's body on the median of Highway 2 on Saturday. At this time, they do not suspect foul play. Police say a motorist alerted them of the body. Officials identified the deceased as 36-year-old Casey Myron Weekly of Grand Forks. An autopsy is being conducted to determine that cause of death. In Lincoln, residents are being asked to limit their water use because of a damaged tank. A power outage affected readings to the water plant. Repairs could take a month and cost more than $100,000. Residents are asked to avoid watering lawns or washing cars. Well, since 2013, Minot Public Works has been hammering out a plan to double the size of their landfill. Some of the landfill's neighbors voiced concerns about the proposed expansion. City leaders say the cheapest option is to keep the landfill where it is and expand. They say moving it would be more expensive in the long run.
We've heard those concerns. We're working with our consultant and we're actually doing a siting analysis. And basically we're looking at a 20-mile radius of Minot. And we're going to find some sites that could be feasible for a landfill to be located.
A public forum will be held on the landfill expansion tomorrow evening at 6:30 at the Sleep Inn in Minot. Well, dogs may be a man's best friend, but they're definitely not a mailman's best friend. According to a 2017 USPS report, 10 dogs attacks have been reported in North Dakota. 2 of those were in Williston. The Postal Service has been working to cut down on the numbers using a special device that detects dogs in the area.
It's filling in for me, and they never done this route. They're walking up, and this warning is going to pop up for them to let them know that beware, there's a vicious dog or there's an aggressive dog in this area to look out for it.
Nationally, USPS reported more than 6,000 dog attacks last year. On the education front, a buzzword that gets thrown around a lot is innovative. But now, Superintendent Kristen Baszler says it's become a hackneyed word. She says it's impossible to measure progress if we don't have an understanding of what innovative means. The Department of Public Education and Instruction has their own definition of the word.
It means doing something different that you've never done before for the purposes of advancing student behavior or student achievement or doing something better for students.
Kirsten Baszler agrees that things are often mistakenly coined as innovative just because they're new, but that ends up getting the word overused. The State Department of Public Instruction is rolling out a new tool for tracking school performance. It's called the Education Dashboard, and it will hopefully provide more transparency in our schools. On it, you can find teacher qualifications, enrollment, attendance, and graduation rates. It also includes a 20-question student engagement survey.
It's important for us to know if we're doing that well or not. Are they excited about learning what they're learning? And if they're not, then it's our job as a school system to make sure that we are adjusting what we're doing, improving all the time to get our students engaged and excited about what they're learning.
The dashboard is available at the North Dakota Insights website at insights.nd.gov. The Mandan Public School Board application deadline has passed. 3 incumbents are running: Sheldon Wolf, Caroline Kozoje, and Rick Horn. All 3 have served on the board previously and are running unopposed. Elections are June 12th. Also in Mandan, school buses could be headed in a new direction. 7 years ago, the Mandan School District considered contracting out their bus services. They ultimately decided against it, but now it's back on the table. Megan Hoffman shows us the consideration this time around. Well, while walking around town, you might want to start looking down. Starion Bank wants to help people pay it forward and are doing so by scattering $2,000 across Bismarck and Mandan. On Friday, 200 wallets will be placed at parks, stores, and around town. Each wallet contains a $20 bill and instructions on how to help others.
Decided to pay it forward to an elementary school for any lunch debt that they had unpaid. So that was a fun way to bring our youth into it as well, which as a mother, that's always my first thought, is to teach our younger generation how to pay it forward and to think of others.
In past years, people gave the money they found to the homeless or local charities. Bismarck street sweepers are in a race against time to get streets cleaned up. Drivers say that it can take up to 6 weeks to remove the thousands of tons of sand that were spread during the winter. If it isn't removed, it can get washed into storm drains and cause a headache for Public Works.
It can plug them, or it can create problems where they have to jet the sewer out, and so we try to catch it before.
You can follow the progress of our street sweepers by clicking the link to this story on our website, yournewsleader.com. Well, now that the warm weather is finally here, it's time to tee off. A post on Bismarck Parks and Recreation's Facebook page says Pebble Creek Golf Course and its driving range will open at noon on Wednesday, while Riverwood and Tom O'Leary courses will open at noon on Friday. Prairie West Golf Course in Mandan is already opened. They teed off on Saturday. At least 9 people are dead after a van jumps the curb, mowing down pedestrians in Toronto. This was the scene earlier today. The vehicle fled the scene after the collision. It was soon located several blocks away, and the suspected driver has been taken into custody. The motivation for the attack is unclear at this time. After a 36-hour manhunt, police arrest the man they believe opened fire inside a Waffle House, killing 4. They say 29-year-old Travis Rinking parked his truck outside the Waffle House around 3:30 Sunday morning, then fired his AR-15, fatally shooting 2 people outside before entering the restaurant and opening fire again. One man inside the restaurant, James Shaw Jr., managed to wrestle the gun away from Rinking. A police standoff ends with a suspect dead. It happened outside of a Texas IKEA today. Police say the incident started with a welfare check. The suspect then fled and parked near the back entrance of an IKEA. Gunfire was exchanged between the officer and the suspect several times. That's when the suspect was fatally shot. No other injuries were reported. Southwest Airlines canceled dozens of flights today to check plane engines following last week's deadly accident. A fan blade broke loose, sending shrapnel flying. One of the windows blew out and a passenger was partially sucked out of the opening. She later died of her injuries. 700 aircraft engines, similar to the one involved in the accident, are currently in use. Today in Washington, French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte arrived for their 3-day state visit. Macron's official visit marks the first by any world leader since President Trump took office. The French president described the visit as, quote, very important. He said security, trade, and a lot of multilateral issues will be discussed. And a country is facing another hole in the hull. The price of newspaper print went up by about 30% when the Commerce Department applied tariffs to Canadian paper. In some cases, the tariffs have increased newspaper expenses by $3 million, leading to job cuts at major publications. The International Trade Commission is holding a hearing in July to review the tariffs. Meantime, another wave of new tariffs is expected to be announced this week, which could spell bad news for American consumers. Experts say new Trump import taxes may cause prices to spike on cell phones, computers, toys, clothing, footwear, furniture, and other goods. Well, Facebook is still digging out from a major scandal after users discovered their personal information was being shared. But turns out Google may have far more dirt on you. In just 1 year, Google reportedly collects enough data on a single user to fill over 5,000 sheets of paper. This includes location information, browsing habits, and schedules. That all gets turned into a portfolio, which is used to target advertisements to specific people. Speaking of digging out, Americans are currently in almost $1 trillion of credit card debt. The average American household alone owes close to $16,000. Part of that reason, the Federal Reserve interest rate has recently risen, and it's expected to see another hike this year. Americans are now spending more on things they can't afford, as well as paying off medical bills. Okay, let's throw it over now to Henry. Henry, we really missed you last week.
Yeah, and I missed the nice warm weather that we're finally getting because it's been quite some time. We're having to deal with lots of cold temperatures.
Welcome back. The state capitol has 21 floors of state offices and legislative wings. Most state employees use the 80-year-old elevators to get to their destinations, but not anymore. Those elevators are getting a much-needed lift. Maddie Jelseth shows us a look.
These elevators will be out of service for 8 months, encouraging state employees to use the stairs.
Currently, the south elevators are out of service, making for a long wait for the north elevators.
There are times where you're on a similar rush with people and everyone else is taking their lunch break, so you're just sitting there waiting.
But most employees I spoke to told me taking the stairs is faster than waiting, especially during that busy lunch hour.
If it's really crowded, I might take a walk up. It takes me longer because I'm older, but I will, and I usually walk down at the end of the day because going down is easier than going up.
The new Gen 2 system elevators are built to use less energy because it'll get people to their floors faster.
Now when you go, you just push the button and you wait for an elevator. Everyone gets on the elevator. These new elevators, you'll push a pad that says which floor you're going to, and then the keypad will tell you which elevator to get on.
Boyle says the new elevators will cost $1.8 million, but it'll pay for itself in 15 years.
As long as the operational and the utility savings add up to the same amount as what the project does. So this way the public isn't really paying for the project.
Boyle says the new elevators will last for another 50 to 60 years.
Reporting at the state capitol for West Dakota Fox News at 9, I'm Maddie Jelseth.
Today, Duchess Kate and her husband Prince William welcomed a baby boy. They're seen here outside the hospital showing off the newest member of their family to the public for the first time. The palace has not revealed the baby's name, but Henry, I have some suggestions for what they could name this prince.
What do you suggest?
Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince.
Floral Prince. The artist formerly known as
Prince. I like that. That would be pretty neat. But hey, could be a nickname. You never know. But we've got some light shower activity for tonight. Temperatures aren't going to be that bad, mostly in the 30s, but the best rain chances are going to be across South Williston. I think your rain chances are decreasing. Might not expecting rain for you, but we will be starting out comfortable above freezing, sunny across the north, cloudy across the south to start, but then gradually becoming clear. After that, we get a little bit of a front pushing through on Thursday. Not really going to impact our temperatures that much because by the weekend, we're back into the 70s.
All right. Well, from the Prince of North Dakota, Henry Blakes and I, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.